Hello, this is Joel Overton, and in this video I'd like to discuss how to generate the descriptive statistics using your graphing calculators. In the previous video, we had discussed how to use Microsoft Excel to generate these same descriptive statistics like the mean, the median, the mode, and the standard deviation. And here we're going to use now our graphing calculators. I'm going to use a different data set this time, and in this case I'm going to use data set 6. So in the back of your textbook in Appendix B, data set number 6 involves measurements taken from bears. You can see that they have a description of the measurements taken, the age of the bear, the month that the measurement was taken, the sex of the bear, and notice for that they've tried to impose a numerical system describing the sex of the bear, 1 for male, 2 for female, and this is at times something that we like to do just so we can record the data numerically and then use it in a numerical fashion, but that doesn't change the fact that this is in fact categorical data and a nominal level of measurement, even though we've imposed a numerical system on it. Also, the head length, the head width, the neck around the distance around the neck, the length of the body, the distance around the chest, and the weight of the bear. So this is a lot of data. You've got a lot of data here, and so we'll want to summarize it with descriptive statistics. Otherwise, it can just be overwhelming to try and just discuss the measurements we've taken in their entirety. So what we're going to do is generate some descriptive statistics off of these pieces of data, and more specifically with regards to the age. How would we characterize the ages of the bears, right? So what we could do is go to my instructor's website now, and under your class page, all of the Excel handouts, Excel spreadsheets are listed there. It's also on the DVD that comes with your textbook. And what we'll want to do is locate the bears, and here they are. It's the first spreadsheet labeled bears. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm actually going to create it so I can edit textbook. And as discussed last time, one of the things we could do is we could generate these descriptive statistics using the data analysis toolkit, because you can see here the ages start at cell 2 in column A, and it goes all the way down to cell 55. So we're really dealing with 54 pieces of data. It's a sizable piece of data. It's still manageable. We could do these by hand, but I would rather have someone else do them, right? It's not a do-it-yourself project. I'd have be a YDI project, you do it project. So I'm going to click on data analysis. I'm interested in the descriptive statistics, and specifically I want input cell range A2 to A55. My output range I'm going to put here in cell K2, and then I'm going to click Summary Statistics. And if you're wondering how to do these, just review back to a prior video where I had demonstrated step-by-step how to calculate these results. So we have these summary results now that we can compare to what we're going to get in the graphing calculator. So now, here's our graphing calculator. I'm going to turn it on. And before you do anything, one thing I would like you to do is there is another feature I need you to enable. Down here above the 0, there's a feature, a function called catalog. It's the secondary function for the button 0, so I'm going to click second and then 0, and it brings up a catalog of all the functions and features that are available through your graphing calculator. And I'm going to scroll down until I get to the D's, and it doesn't take much to get to where I need to go, so that's why I'm not going to just shortcut to it. And there are 2 features here. There's Diagnostic On and Diagnostic Off. By default, your calculators are Diagnostic Off. I'm going to put my arrow button here by using the up and down arrow so that the cursor is on Diagnostic On. And then I'm going to click Enter, and then Enter again. And now Diagnostics are on, which is to say there are some descriptive statistics that are not provided by default. by enabling diagnostics, we do get those descriptive statistics. And once you've enabled that, you'll never have to enable it again. If you turn off the calculator, do whatever you need to do, the only time you might have to turn that diagnostics back on is if you switch your batteries or reset your calculator in any way. Now, at this point, what I need to do is I need to input all of the ages in this data set, right? All the ages of these bears, all 54 measurements. So if you go to your calculator, go to Stat, the Stat button, we are going to edit a list. And I've already input all of the values into list 1. And I demonstrated how to do this in a prior video regarding how to generate, I believe, a histogram using your graphing calculators. But notice I have all the data there. If you want to put it in another list because L1, list 1 is already taken, feel free to do that. Now, after you've input all of the data in there, I'm going to quit out of here. So second, and quit is the secondary function of the mode button. And now what I'm going to do is go back to the Stat button. I'm going to go to the submenu Calc by moving my arrow button to the right. So now I have the submenu of Calc features. And what I'm going to want to do is the first button, which is one variable stats. So notice you can move up and down this menu and highlight the function you want. I want function number 1, one variable stats. So I can select it by using my up and down arrows or just clicking the number 1. Right? Now that I have 1 highlighted, I just hit enter. And it says one var stats. Now, if you're using list 1, then specify list 1. The name list 1 is actually the secondary feature or function of button 1. So second L1. You cannot type in the letter L, which is up here in green, and then 1 because that means something entirely different. We want list 1, L with a subscript 1. If you're using a different list like list 2 or list 3, notice those lists are also readily accessible as secondary functions for button 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I want one var stats. And actually, if it's list 1, if you don't specify list 1, your calculator assumes it's list 1 by default. So you didn't even have to specify that. But just to be explicit, I am going to put it there and click enter. And now your calculator will generate the summary statistics, the summary descriptive statistics for that data set, for the ages. And notice the sample mean, 43.51851852. 43.1585. So if you contrast that, if you compare that now to what we got in Excel, you see we get the same results. Now notice there is a down arrow. So that means if you haven't clicked enter or anything else, you can scroll up and down this data set, these results. All right. And so let's scroll down and you can see the median. The median is listed as 34. 34. There are some other data in here. Notice there's an S with a lowercase x. This is really S sub x, meaning this is the standard deviation of this data set, which is 33.7206844, which you'll also see is the standard deviation they list with the descriptive statistics from Excel. So all of the descriptive statistics that we generated in Excel are also here, except if you're scrolling through this, you're like, I don't see the mode anywhere. And that's true. There is no mode that's presented to you in your one variable stats of your graphing calculator. So one thing you might consider doing is going to your stats, and you might consider just ordering your data and then finding the piece of data that appears with the greatest frequency. That can be a little bit, cumbersome to do, but in general, the two most important descriptive statistics you're going to be interested in, especially for the quiz, are the mean and median. The mode, you'll just have to calculate yourself. You'll have to identify yourself. So if I resort this in resorting in ascending order, so I click Edit and then Sort A, Option 2, and then I specify List 1 and hit Enter. If I go back to my statistics and edit that list, you'll see it's all in ascending order. So you can see 8 appears twice, 9 appears 3 times, 10 appears 3 times. So we just need to find something that has frequency greater than 3. And, scrolling through here, what we're going to find is 57 is going to fit the bill. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. 57 only appears 3 times as well. So actually we have more than a single mode. So it's interesting that Microsoft will only list one mode when in fact this distribution has a number of modes. It's multimodal. Some statisticians will argue that really if you're dealing with more than one mode in your set, then that's just too many. That in fact your set has no mode. Here we have a mode of 9, 10 because both of those have frequency 3, 17, 21, now my site is failing me here, 34, 57, that appears to be it. We have a number of modes, so really because of the fact that we have just so many modes, we might argue that there are no modes for this system. Now, in a follow-up video that will be published very soon here, one of the things I want you to notice is the order that the mean and median fall. The mean is 43.51, on and on and on. The median is 34. We got the same results when we calculated now using one Veristats on our graphing calculators, 43.5185, on and on and on, and a median now of 34. In other words, the mean is greater than the median. Or you might even say the mean is to the right of the median. This goes towards the discussion of skewness. Because the mean is to the right of the median, we say it's skewed in the positive direction. It's skewed towards the right. We'll get into a more detailed discussion of this type of skewness and why we say it's skewed in a subsequent video.